Hope everybody's doing well and managing through this difficult time that we're going through right now. We have some fairly breaking news right now from yesterday. UK website called The Guardian reported that now they are coming up, and by they, I mean the ministers of the UK Parliament are in discussions with tech firms about what would be called an immunity passport. An immunity passport. What that would mean is, in order to go to work, which is all that's detailed in the article so far, but however, they could apply it conceivably to anything they want to, such as travel, such as going to school, things of that nature, that you would have to have this immunity passport to confirm via facial recognition software that you are immune from the coronavirus. Here is the report. As you can see here, how the health passport would work. Using an app, you would take a photo of your face and of your government approved ID. The app would match the two to verify your identity and also detect whether the ID is fake. So it would also be a safeguard against fake IDs. When the antigen or antibody tests that you get, you establish whether or not you had the coronavirus and are immune. At work, you open the app at reception and take a picture of your face. They will take a picture of your face, and that will generate a QR code, which is scanned by the receptionist to confirm whether you have immunity. The receptionist verifies that the photo of you and the app matches your face, with the on-app image only visible for a short time. If your ID matches and you have immunity, you can enter the workplace. What that means is you will have to have immunity to enter the workplace. What that means is, if you happen to have had the novel coronavirus or the COVID-19 illness and recovered, you can enter the workplace. But what if you didn't get it? And all these measures are being taken. Remember, we're on a lockdown now to prevent people from getting it. So what if you didn't get it? Then how do you get immunity? Then in that case, the obvious solution would be the vaccine. You see, and already Bill Gates and Fauci and so on are saying that we are going to need a vaccine in order to, really protect our populations from this virus. Now, the question I leave you with here is, how much is it, really necessary to have some type of an artificial protection from a disease, which we're still in debate. There's a lot of debate going on, even in the medical and scientific communities, as to how deadly this virus really is. And we still don't know definitively that it's significantly different in its mortality rate from the flu. Here's some more information that we, just pulled from regarding these ventilators. Again, they're saying we need ventilators to save lives. New report, and I pulled this up I just saw this today. This report is from, it doesn't say the date, does it? But it says nearly all patients put on ventilators died. This is from thehill.com. Another article from the 30th of April, ventilators brought from China could have caused significant harm, including deaths. The governor of New York was quoted as having said 80% of people died on ventilators. That's around this study here says 88% of people on ventilators died. However, that's with the limited amount of data being checked. So, take that with a grain of salt. Because that's only counting people who either died or were discharged, and that's not counting people who are still in the hospital. So the number could be lower than 88%. However, that's still, even if it's anywhere close, even if it's 70%, 75%, that's still a very, very high death rate. Now, the question is this. And again, as it says here, many of the patients placed on ventilators also have pre-existing conditions. Those are your diabetics, your hypertension patients, generally people unhealthy. Okay, so that's two things. One is it the virus that's really the problem? That's really what's killing people? Or is it these other factors? And secondly, the people who are dying on the ventilators. The interesting question is, would they have died if they were not put on a ventilator? Or was it the ventilator that killed them? So these are important questions we have to answer, because these places around the world that recorded these very high death rates use ventilators quite a lot. I've been doing some research on just listening to a lot of these doctors talking. And again, we'll be having a report coming out for Meridian World News to compile a lot of this information to show that the lack of knowledge by the doctors of what they were really dealing with this coronavirus, it really led to a lot of deaths. Now, they won't say this explicitly, but all you have to do is take their statements and then look at the actual numbers, percentage of people dying in these ventilators, and seeing that that was their go-to at the very beginning, that they were all putting patients on ventilators who had certain stats that they were looking at when they were reading their vitals. Okay. And so the jury is still out on how deadly is this disease. And while the jury is still out, there are already opportunistic governments, politicians, business people, and who knows what other categories to fit these people into, who are capitalizing on the fear that's been generated about this disease in the public to be able to push certain agendas to either force a product on what you have in business called a captive audience, people who don't have a way out of what you're trying to sell them, or establish a higher degree of control over a population. So now, and we already can, if you've looked at what China has been praised for doing to limit their coronavirus outbreak, they did very extensive tracking of people, which is what apparently they do anyway on a normal basis, to really limit. And this is what they're really trying to implement in the UK now, as you can see from that article. And if the UK is at that stage, you can see imagine America isn't going to be far behind that. But in the US and different places in the world, like such as Africa, you have a lot of people who are protesting what's going on, protesting the lockdowns, protesting the manipulation, and questioning the narrative that's being pushed on us. And in order to fight these kinds of agendas being pushed on us right now, we really have to ask questions. We really have to involve ourselves in some critical thinking. We really are going to have to be ready to resist these agendas when they get ready to push on us. Because if not, you can see, for example, after 9/11, there was a widespread panic about terrorism, and they were able to implement the U.S. Patriot Act to be able to really expand the powers of the National Security Agency and so on to do, tap people's phones, record people's conversations without any type of prior warrant. Um, Many other things, that you see anytime you get ready to travel on an airplane, for example, but many other things as well. A whole Department of Homeland Security was created just in response to that 9/11 attack. That department of the U.S. government didn't exist before. Now they've created a whole new government. Now that the threat of global terrorism isn't something even people talk about anymore. That department is still in existence. The TSA is still in existence. The illegal wiretapping, you better believe they're doing that more than ever. They're even out in the open about tracking everything that you're doing on your phone, on your websites, on your computer. So we have to ask ourselves now, with this new crisis that people are panicking about, just how much are they going to try to get away with in order to assume more control over our daily lives, our daily movements, and even what we put in our bodies with these vaccines now. And question and say, are we so scared of death now, so scared of a potentially deadly disease, which again hasn't even been proven to be significantly deadlier or even any deadlier than any other disease that we're dealing with every day? Are we so scared of the potential harm from that we will deliberately allow people to put us in a deeper level of bondage, a deeper level of oppression than what we've been in already? Are we that scared that we're getting ready to give all our rights away, to let people walk all over us without resisting, without questioning, to be complicit in saying, yes, I want my neighbor to be forced to be vaccinated because I feel like he will be a danger to me otherwise, without knowing the side effects, without knowing the consequences, without knowing really the agenda and why all this big deal is being made over a virus that hasn't been proven to be significantly deadlier than anything else. That's my question to you. And if you say no, to that question, then my request, what I ask you, is be ready to resist. Because this is what time it is now. Again, this is Kasabez Makma. Thank you for watching. Peace.